Oh, so it's like I kind of do a baptism of the car. So I do the decontamination, which is I use hand soap because it's more abrasive than regular car wash soap.
Really?
And take all the wax or anything that was on the car off. Then I'm going to use iron remover, which gets all the little tiny specks of dirt out, and you use that. You just wash it off or rub it off, and then clay bar, which gets any of the other gritty things that the spray doesn't take off.
Clay bar?
Clay bar.
Interesting.
It's actual clay.
That's fascinating.
Rub it on the paint. And then paint correction, which is you use rubbing compound, which is like liquid sandpaper. Then you use polishing compound, which eliminates the deep scratches that the rubbing compound made. And then wax. And I have my favorite wax that really looks good on this. Makes cars really shiny. So it would look good on this.
How many was that?
How many
steps? A lot of steps, yeah.
There's a lot of
My
steps.
goodness. I didn't think it'd be that complicated.
I know. And then I need to show everyone my favorite wax. This is my favorite wax. So, but I use this on the machine, the buffer. But this makes things really shiny.
I can't wait to see it
them
on
like
here.
a really deep gloss. Yes. Yes. Little Mark.
Little Nick.
What do I want to talk about? Oh, but I wanted to do this because the gas shocks are much nicer. You just open the hood and it goes up without needing to do the bar.
Yeah. I definitely gotta get those in there.
Yeah. I'm pretty far gone. I'll take this out.
And keep it in.
Keep it in.
No cuts.
No cuts.
Yeah, just
If you know my raw personality, it goes after Gilbert and Norm. Gilbert!
I wonder if you'll keep this in.
That's what she said.
You just cut to us laughing at because we're in the bar.
Oh my god.
Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about what I'm looking at here?
Yes, so you mean what kind of engine this is?
Yeah, so I guess that would be a good place to start.
So this one is, the model name of it is called the 5VZFE. You can see the name of it down there, with a flashlight.
Yeah, I can see. I have good measures.
Oh, it's good.
That's what they say.
Yes, so this is the 5VZFE. FE stands for fuel injected. 5VZ is just the number code of this one. Like the newer the new 4Runner is called the 1GR FE, or if you talk to any of your other car guy friends and they talk about the Supra that has the fireworks, that has the 2JZ GTE engine in it, and those are the names of the engine itself.
Letters and numbers.
Yes,
and shit.
my XC90 is the B4448S. I don't know. And those fireworks, eh? My goodness. But it is a V6, and the way how it's V, you can kind of see the shape of it already. It's in a V shape. So the cylinders, 3 are on this side, 3 are on this side. And it's longitudinally mounted. So it's long ways.
Okay.
Perfect example. The Volvo's engine
right?
is sideways, transverse.
But this looks mad cool.
Yes.
Really
So the Volvo's engine is sideways. I'm going to move the thing here. And then so I can do it like this.
Yeah, that looks looks really cool in my opinion.
Yes. So
But that's a classic, you know. I feel like.
Yes. So this is because the car is front-wheel drive based. So the pilots have transverse V6, V8. Yeah, the V6 on the pilot. This V8. But the V shape is going like this. In that 4Runner, it's going like this. You know?
Yeah.
Yes. And
It's fascinating.
yes. I think this will be interesting. I may have to edit this high too. Because sober me may not be able to tolerate high me.
That's funny.
Why the hell is he doing that?
Like work left to right.
Yeah.
Like what is this?
Oh, this is a good thing. So this is the wiper motor over here. So this is what controls. Actually, yes, this is what controls the wipers, and then there's rods inside that you push the things up. That's that.
Okay. What is this?
This is one of the fuse boxes. This is for the ABS and traction control. ABS, you know what that is, and then traction control. Something about that with Toyotas, when you have a check engine light, the VSC track and ABS or two other lights come on, so that's normal.
Okay.
If you ever have it, it's
So
three
is it
lights.
3 total?
Yeah.
Okay.
3 orange lights that pop up, so that's not alarming.
Interesting.
This is the intake,
know.
as you know.
I did not.
Oh no? Oh, and he said to check the filter because it's dirty. So it's good to do it every year because it's not that expensive. But I would do it every year, especially if you're going off-roading or going into dust. Replace the filter. This one haven't come out. I'm trying to see. Oh, like this. So this one, and the way how you look and see if the filter, if you can see through it. What this is, this isn't terribly dirty.
Word.
But if you're going to like dusty places especially, it's good to replace it. Maybe like once a year. So this is the filter housing, and then this is the mass airflow sensor. So this is what tells the car how much air it's getting in. So this works in conjunction with the O2 sensors, the oxygen sensors, which are part of the exhaust. That's one of, if you ever have a check engine light, that is one of the things that it could be, and that's a common reason for a check engine light.
What is this?
This controls, this is I guess a module for the mass airflow sensor, because it's connected, and it goes back to the fuel rail.
Interesting.
This is the throttle body. So the throttle in this is it's a flap. In every car, it's a flap. So right now it's closed. When it's idling, it's closed. But when you turn this, it's actually turning, opening and closing the flap. So if I was, if the engine was running, it would
Yeah.
and it opens it. So more air that gets in, the higher it revs. And then this is called the intake manifold. So it goes, around like this, like a snake, and then into the engine block. And people supercharge these because Toyota offered a factory supercharger for these when they were new.
No
for these
way.
and the Tacomas.
Gotta get a supercharger, man.
That's what I plan on. I'm looking for it on it because the new ones are like $3,200.
Wow.
The ones, if you find a used
Supercharge
one,
this engine or the new engine?
wow, supercharged V8. I was thinking in a
Should I just
long.
wait? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would wait. Well,
obviously I'm gonna wait in general, but
yeah.
would I just do it on the next engine, the V8? You think? Or is that too much? You think the V8 would be enough?
But I think the V8 would be enough for this.
Supercharge the V8.
That would be fast 4Runner. But I think I want to, if I V8 swap that, I want to figure out how I can keep the manual. V8 manual pickup truck.
That would be sick.
That would be sick. That would be really cool. would be fast. Even though it's
I
a
love that
truck.
There are numbers. on this.
Yep. And they're glass. That's why they don't fade, like the Pilot or the Prius.
Facts. I was gonna say they look mad clean.
Yep, glass. So they will never ever fade, which is great. I cannot wait to do the grill.
Absolutely.
Because even the the black plastic has faded, from the sun. So the sharp black paint will look very nice on this. It kind of make it look fresh. I can see in the light here, this clear coat is starting to fade from the sun, which is normal. These older Toyotas, the paint isn't known to be that durable if it's not taken care of. So that's why I would, at least with a spray wax, like I'll show you. This one also happens to be from Griot's garage, but this is a good wax. At least every 6 months, because it protects the coat, the clear coat, and it keeps it shiny, and it also keeps it from real hard dirt to stick on it. I had another thought of the intake. So if you ever wanted to put a snorkel on this, because a snorkel for these is actually very cheap.
Really?
It's like $120.
Not bad.
I'm gonna get it for my truck. No, I need to lift. It needs to be lifted before you do snorkel. But where it feeds air is right here. You could see, and right now it's feeding air like from the inner. Yeah. So this is where it's feeding air. So when you build the snorkel, or when you assemble it, you actually drill a hole in the fender here, and then it goes up like that.
That's pretty sick.
Yes. And something stupid is with the new Toyotas, they put a snorkel on it, or maybe like for 2019, they put a snorkel on them, but they say don't go in water with it because they say it's just for dust. Which is true, when it's up here, but it's a snorkel. That's why you put it there. It needs to be watertight. That's something else. I can't put a snorkel on that. I want to have a car and put a snorkel on it. That's fucking cool. Seeing a snorkel on a car. On a truck. Just like that awesome. Land Cruiser. Yeah. Because they look like they're ready. 4Runner.
I just don't know if I would want to do it.
No. That's if you're gonna actually need it.
Yeah.
I drive in water that could potentially submerge a vehicle. I've been in pretty deep water with that.
Crazy, man.
What the key is to just not stop. Because when the water is like up here, it's not going to get in because you're moving. Because you're making a wake. So there's like the car is on a bubble. It's so weird being in the water in a car. There's a water crossing at Green Ridge, which for these trucks is like not lethal or not fatal. For the Volvo, it probably would be. But when you get comfortable enough with this, I'll have you go through it.
Excellent.
Because first I'll go through it, and then you can see. But the water never gets up to like here. But it's such a feeling. Feeling the car go in the water.
I can't wait.
Yeah. There's so many fun things, and I think probably do a video as I teach you how to use the 4-wheel drive again. I think that would be cool.
That would be good.
Yes.
I definitely need another.
Yes. Especially in the snow.
Yeah.
I hope we get snow.
Hopefully
You're going to feel so invincible with this in the snow. Because my dad, he drove through 3 feet of snow with good. Tires like this. Not even like all terrain. Just stock tires. Yeah. He just put it in 4 low. And like when we got 3 feet of snow, he had to go to work still. And I felt like such a badass watching. That was like, that's my dad in that car. Going up the hill.
Flexing.
Yeah, and everyone else was watching him. And then everyone asked him, like, can you get groceries for me? Oh my god.
What a pain.
But yeah, the snow was like past my knees, I remember. and it just like went through it. So fucking cool. And I want snow like that. That's why I always park backwards.
Yeah.
So like when I am prepared,
You're ready.
If there's like 3 feet of snow,
All of a sudden overnight.
I charge. That's my dream. But there's no snow to charge into.
You gotta live in a cooler state, man.
I know. Maybe I'll move up to PA.
You could.
It's cheaper.
Probably be around there.
It's cheaper.
Probably be around there.
I would hope it would be cheaper.
Yeah, I hate that.
Me too. Because it's fucked. Oh, there's more things I need to show you. Because there actually are things that, well, everything is important. Another thing, this is the air conditioning line.
I was gonna ask, that thing looks very interesting.
Yes.
Why is it like that?
So, it's just, so there's a high pressure and a low pressure one. So if your AC is ever kind of like not as cold as you'd like it, it may need to be recharged. And this is this is where you'd plug the thing into. Yep. What else? Spark. Well,
that was the intake manifold you said?
This is the throttle body.
Okay, I forgot about the throttle body.
And then this is the intake manifold. Right. Behind this is the timing belt. So this is
that's what you replace. Right?
This is replace, and you replace the timing belt every, I'd say, 80 to 100,000 miles. So you have until 223,000 miles to do the timing belt and water pump. And that's crucial, because when your water pump goes bad, it stops circulating coolant through the engine, and then it overheats the engine, and then it'll leak as well. And this is one of the lines for the coolant. So this looks new, which is good, because coolant lines, because it's rubber, when they go old, they crack. And then, like, if you're on a long road trip or something, these are bound to, for some reason, burst. And it's a cheap, easy thing to replace. Yes, but this is nice and soft. And it looks brand new. And obviously this is the radiator. The radiator. And then this is the coolant fan. Well, the cooling fan.
Oh shit.
And that's running, with this engine it runs all the time. In the Pilot, it kind of just does it when it thinks it needs to. This is the radiator cap. You don't open it after it's been run, because it's hot. Because when it heats up, there's an insane amount of pressure in this radiator. So.
Is this Japanese also?
Yes, it is.
Cool.
Because these were built in Japan. I forgot the name of the plant, but
that's such a nice little bonus.
It's built in Japan, because another way to learn or to distinguish a car built in Japan. Oh, this is the high pressure for the air conditioning, and then this is the low pressure.
Is there any?
This is the horn. There's 2 horns, so there's a high and a low.
Okay.
Yeah. The horn on this sounds
that?
nice. That is the condenser for the air conditioning. But a way to distinguish a vehicle built in Japan is that the first letter, J, for Japan.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so that's how you know it was built in Japan. Some other things that I think would be good to know is this is the serpentine belt, this belt over here. Or people also call it the accessory belt. This thing that I'm touching, you see? So, that one, if the engine ever starts to make like a squeak, you've heard a car go like screeching noise, that's this belt going bad. And that's something pretty easy to replace. There's 2 of them, but those are what's...
Where's the second one? It's just right on.
Yeah, they're just next to each other. But these are what power the accessories, like the alternator, the water pump, the power steering pump. So power steering...
I was about to ask, what is that?
This is the power steering pump. This is where your power steering fluid is. So this belt is controlling the power steering pump. This is also controlling the fan. This one seems to be controlling the water pump. This inner one, that one controls the alternator. So, if the belt snaps, the engine can overheat and die. Yeah.
Let's go.
Because when the alternator stops working, it stops charging the battery. So when you can drive for like only so long on just the battery, then the car will just die. And then when the water pump stops spinning, it just stops circulating coolant, and then it overheats. And then if it overheats too much, it can blow the head gasket or even crack the block, the engine block. Yeah. But that's if you're a very oblivious driver and you don't realize that things are squeaking and not sounding good, or it's leaking coolant. Something else. This is the oil dipstick. If you want to ever change or check the oil.
I was gonna say it looks like
engine oil.
Yeah.
And then you know how to check the oil?
Mm.
Oh wow, I'm like a dad. I need to get a napkin or a rag. So, for checking the oil, it's good to let the engine rest for like 15 minutes so it cools down a bit. Not because it'll blow up, but for a more accurate reading. And then you pull it, and then it actually. So you pull it, you wipe it. You wipe it once, and then you put it back in, and then pull it out, and then to check the level, it's the second. Can you see in the light? Can you see that dot?
Mm-hmm.
The second dot. That's where it's like the full line.
Okay.
So this is the minimum, and that's the this is the minimum, and that's the maximum.
So it's a little past?
It's a little past, which is okay. But it does look like it's about time to change the oil.
Okay.
And
should I do that before the inspection?
You don't have to. You could do it when, like, if it needs anything.
Alright.
But the way how you check if the oil is time is if it starts to get, well, not like light brown, but like starts to get darker brown or black. And that's usually, I'd say, every 5,000 miles. This car doesn't have a light like the pilots do.
Yeah.
To tell you when it's time. So it's every 5,000 miles. That's what I do. Some people say 3,000, some people say 10,000, but I just do 5,000. I'm actually overdue on my truck, but it's just starting to get brown. That's why really just check the color.
Yeah. Because
with these engines, they don't burn oil.
I plan to be under the hood a lot, so hopefully I'll keep an eye.
Yeah, like I never have to top off my truck. Maybe after like really revving it out a lot, but that's normal. And then I'll top it off a bit. But other things.
So then this is the filter. This is the fuse box for
the ABS and traction
control.
You're not usually going to have to fiddle around with that.
Word. I just want to know. Just that I do. That's the AC stuff.
Yep.
That's the low.
That's the low. This is the high. Yep.
And then that's the windshield
motor.
Yep. And filter air
mass airflow sensor.
Mass airflow sensor.
Yep.
I don't remember. I keep
throttle body.
Throttle body. Of course, throttle. I don't know why I just can't get that.
Yep.
And then
intake manifold.
Intake manifold.
It's
I tried to combine them.
It's okay.
Word.
Oh, and then this is where you'd fill the engine oil. You'd this cap here.
Okay.
And I think with these you have a transmission dipstick. Maybe. Oh yeah, that red plug.
Oh, dope.
So that you just really have to check the level of it, and you fill it from underneath. I'm pretty sure. Transmission fluid is pretty easy. I've done it on Thor once, but it's something I would do every like 50,000.
50,000.
Just to be safe, 50 to 60,000 miles. I usually keep a logbook. Just because I'm anal like that, I have like a sheet for both of, well, every car I have, that I write down every bit of maintenance that I've done, like the date and the mileage and what I did. And then I also have receipts. Well,
that's smart.
Since I do my work myself,
I'll definitely do something like that as well.
Since I do my work myself, that's why I write the little log sheet.
Is this
like,
the ABS?
Which one?
What is this again?
Power steering fluid.
Power steering.
Yep.
ABS is what I mean.
Yep. Power steering fluid. This is brake fluid, and it looks like it's pretty clear, and it's full, so that's good. And that whole big box thing under it is the brake master cylinder.
Brake master cylinder.
The master cylinder. So if the pedal ever feels abnormally soft, like it goes down a little bit easier, it could be this going bad, or the brakes need to be bled, so there's air in the system, which you just bleed the brakes and then get the air bubbles out.
So what did he change in terms of the brakes? You said
He did the rotors and pads.
rotors and pads.
Yeah. And I think calipers too. And the rear brakes he did about the same, I would say. So you're good on brakes for a while. So that's something. When you hit the brakes, like on the highway, and the wheel starts to shake, that's because the rotors are warped. So it's either
my mom used to do that shit all the time. To the
get
brakes
them
and
resurfaced, or just replace the rotors. And the pads are what squeak, because they have like little wear bars that if it rubs onto the rotor, it squeaks, and that indicates that it's time to get the pads replaced. Brakes are easy on this. I've done brakes on my truck before. So, and also something with the brakes on these, the front brakes are discs and calipers, and the rear brakes are drums. And disc and caliper is literally, you've seen a brake, because we've taken tires off. So you've seen what disc brakes look like. Drums, Toyota SUVs for some reason still have drums. Oh, there's a deer. I got an email.
They were just like, fuck it, we're not changing it.
Yeah, because they're like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I guess.
That makes sense.
But they're not as powerful as disc brakes. But they work with like they have brake shoes, and the drum kind of expands, which is what slows it down because of the friction. This is the coolant reservoir, the reserve tank. You usually don't have to do that.
It's attached to the radiator?
By this one. And it all works by suction, which is interesting. Because, it's interesting. Oh, these wires are the spark plug wires.
Okay.
So when he says he changed the spark plugs and the wires and coils, so the wires are this, which go to the spark plugs, and then the coils, you can kind of see this plug here. This leads to a coil pack. As you know, this is the battery. This thing here, that's next to the oil dipstick, that's the alternator, that fan, that rib thing that's attached to the belt. That's what charges the battery.
The alternator?
Yeah, this thing.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what charges the battery. This has OBD too, so you can plug it into like the computer I have, or you could get a fixed thing, you know those things? I have it, it's a Bluetooth one. I keep it plugged in. And it just shows you if you have a check engine light, it tells you what it is.
Oh, that's cool.
So you can plug a computer into here or under the dash. Like if you went to do emissions, you could either do it under the dash or under here. Yep.
That's cool.
This is the fuse box, and it says everything in here. So if something stops working, usually a fuse is the first thing I check. Like if a light stops blinking, like coming on or something.
Right.
Or windows stop working.
What is all that stuff behind it?
These are things that I do not know. Some lines of some sort. I don't know. They're just modules and doohickeys and plugs.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm saying that the last guy gave me. The last guy gave her some wrong numbers or something, but I don't know. She doesn't know what the hell's going on.
The insurance people are stupid.
Unbelievable.
Oh man.
Alright, I'm gonna try to remember all this.
Yeah.